Want to be successful on Chaumont Bay, there's only two things you got to remember, and that's points and shoals. The points are underwater points, and what's unique about Chaumont is these points, they really don't look like much from the water, but you'll find them on your map, and they're underwater points. And even the map doesn't do them justice. They really extend out. So when you're on the water, when you think you've gotten to the tip of that point, just go a little further. But all these points have some form of rock on them. They got either a flat rock shoal, they'll have a big rock pile, or they might have isolated boulders. So the trick is you got to try to find where that structure is. Come out of the Chaumont boat launch, the state launch there right by the bridge. That's the one that I suggest that you use. If you make a right, you're going to come to our first nice point. That's where I am right now. And you're going to have a long, flat rock shoal that comes way out that's surrounded by isolated boulders. It's also connected to a nice big bay that has scattered rock and boulders in it. So you can get up on your trolling motor and fish those boulders, all right? When you find a boulder, I would throw a wacky rig Cinco right to that thing. That works real well, but any kind of finesse bait that you're comfortable with, like a Ned rig, shaky head, all those are going to work just fine. But those scattered rock and boulders extends way out into this bay, into like 12 and 15 feet of water. So I would throw a search bait out in that deeper water, like a swim, a jerk bait, a spinner, crankbait. Any of those are going to work. And then when you find one of those boulders, throw that Cinco on it. And I throw a weighted Cinco. I got a little jig hook on there where there's one of them is a 32nd of an ounce jig, and the other one is a 16th ounce. Looks like I got just another average one, but this is what you're going to expect here in Chaumont. They're not all mega giants. It's a nice one though, man. He's solid. He's real solid. He's 3.5. Nice 3.5er. Got him right in the top of the lip. Nope, the corner of the lip with a swim bait. So what you do is you just go right around Chaumont Bay and hit every point, and it's going to take you all day to do this. That's one full day of fishing. Oh, we got somebody playing with us here. That brings you up to the next big player in Chaumont. Look at that. Somebody followed me up, and that bugger hit me. The next big player in Chaumont is going to be Cherry Island. This is a textbook spot. You got the main lake, and then you got the main channel coming off from the main lake with a prevailing wind runs right down through this main channel, and it hits the point of Cherry Island, the only island really in this whole area. So it's going to hold fish. So what you do is you can fish that point. You get right up tight, and you're going to find boulders. But here's a perfect example of a point that really extends way out. 2024 Bassmasters, there was a Japanese guy that he spent 2 or 3 days here just fishing this point, and he ended up getting was like in the middle of the channel, and 50 feet of water he was fishing using his forward-facing sonar and a drop shot, and just getting giants, man. So this is another huge area to fish. Really wander around on here. You can also fish the sides of it, right? With the prevailing wind, you're going to do a drift right down the sides of this thing. Get your boat in like 15 feet of water, and then cast up towards the shore, and about 6 feet of water, and you're gonna find some scattered rock. That brings us up to the next good spot in Chaumont, and that's Guffin's Bay. Now, Guffin's Bay, you got two big shorelines. You got a north shoreline that it's got a real hard weed line on it. Okay, so like in 15 feet of water, you got heavy weeds. And then in 15.5 feet of water, you got nothing. Now, don't quote me on those numbers, but you get my point. That's what I mean by a hard line there. So you fish the outside edge of that weed line, and like a jerk bait's gonna work, a slow rolling swim bait, that weighted wacky rig Cinco is gonna work there. You wanna get down in about the middle of the water column is the key there, but yeah, the fish come out of those weeds and there's giants in there. The other shoreline, I wouldn't drift that whole thing. I would only drift probably the back quarter of it, where you're going to find a nice flat rock shoal, and it's got some edges to it. And you're talking, just maybe a 4 foot, 6 foot drop, but they kind of hang on those edges. And on the right day, a good sunny, calm day, you can get on top of that shoal and you find them, sight fish, and pick them off that way. Is kind of fun, but it's just that back little corner. The money spot of Guffin's Bay is way in the back of the bay here. And here up shallow, you're going to find isolated boulders where, again, Ned rig, wacky rig Cinco, shaky head, even a smaller finesse kind of swim bait is going to work good back in here. If they're not up shallow, and it's a vast area, it's the whole back of this thing. If they're not up shallow, you can see here where there's kind of a shelving. This shelving starts in 17 feet of water. So you get your boat in 20 feet of water, and you let the prevailing wind kind of blow you up onto this shelf. Get on your forward-facing sonar with a drop shot, and you just kind of scan the area. It's another vast area. You really got to cover a lot of water here. So when you're out deep, you can use a search bait, but a lot of them just get on the forward-facing sonar with a drop shot. Chaumont, what I found is those old school traditional baits just seem to work well. You get on the St. Lawrence River or way out in the middle of Lake Ontario, that drop shot gets a little goofy anymore because the fish have seen so many of them. But for some reason, it's still that, and the wacky rigs or any kind of Cinco, they still work real well in Chaumont. Something else about Chaumont that I want to tell you is that when the water warms up, the last couple years, the water's been real warm, and there was an algae bloom in Chaumont Bay, and that would happen pretty much through the whole month of August. It might even gotten into the end of July. Once that green slime or green snot, whatever, gets on that rock or any kind of cover, the fish hate it, and they just leave the area. So get right out of there if that's the case. You can always go to Cape Vincent. It's not far. Cape Vincent's 10 minutes down the road. You get on the St. Lawrence River. Or you could go to the lakeside of Chaumont. Go to the Isthmus boat launch. And there you can fish the shorelines of the lakeside of Chaumont, which is going to be kind of like Grenadier Island, Fox Island area. Awesome, awesome. A lot of rock over there. The only thing you're dealing with there is Lake Ontario. So a south-southwest wind can be brutal. 10, 12 mile an hour, it's going to be pounding pretty good. So just keep that in mind. But look out for that algae bloom. Next stop is the shoals in Chaumont, which are right in the center of the bay. And Johnson Shoal is probably the most popular shoal. It's a decent shoal. It's got water on it. It's marked with a buoy. It's not hard to find. The only issue with that is everybody and their brother fishes it, so it really gets overfished. But right next to that, there's two other shoals. These both, they all have water on them. I mean, like 5-6 feet on top of the shoal. So you can drift over these shoals, throwing a swim, but it's the edges. You want to fish the edges. Again, drop shot. It gets a little grassy over there, so something weedless. But these can be great spots. They always hold fish. You got to cover water again. If the wind really picks up on you in Chaumont, you can bop down the Chaumont River, which is on the other side of the bridge. You can fish the shorelines there and any kind of structure. I'm not going to tell you you're going to catch any mega giants back there, but you will catch fish. And then you can run into 3 Mile Bay also. Pretty much the same deal. If you got a young kid, you can go into that bay, or there's another bay that has a marina in it where you can catch rock bass along the shoreline just to keep them occupied. But I really wouldn't spend a ton of time in these things. This guy's pretty nice. He's not too shabby right here. This is a good one. Again, perfect hookup right in the corner of the mouth. It's right where you want to get him. That and the roof of the mouth, you're not doing any damage to him. It doesn't bother him one bit. Look at that. He's a nice one. Nice one, huh? If you're thinking of making a trip to the St. Lawrence River and you really have no idea even where to start, well, I have an inside informational video that you can find on my website. It's ditchfishing.org. And I also want to tell you about my other YouTube channel. It's called Ditch Ministry. And there you're going to find videos that are just 3 to 5 minutes long. They're real short videos. They just give you something to think about for the day and help you build your relationship with God. There's a video right here at the end. Click on it and check it out.